हाय एवरीवन। आई नो मैंने इस चैनल पे बहुत टाइम से वीडियो नहीं डाली है, सो आई थॉट टू मेक वन। क्योंकि आज मुझे पता चल गया है कि टुडे 23rd of April is World Book Day. So I thought that मेरा इस साल का रेजोल्यूशन था टू रीड मोर बुक्स. आई बॉट वन बुक इन जनवरी एंड मैंने अभी तक इसको पढ़ना चालू नहीं किया है. ऑल दो आई डिड ट्राई टू स्टार्ट रीडिंग इट बिकॉज मैंने इसके फर्स्ट पेज पे ड्राइंग कर दी है एंड ऑन द सेकेंड पेज एंड ऑन द थर्ड पेज एज वेल. सो आई थॉट कि वर्ल्ड बुक डे के शुभ अवसर पर आई जस्ट स्टार्ट रीडिंग दिस बुक and maybe post videos about it. What I have thought is जब तक मेरा attention रहेगा तब तक I'll read, alright, or should I just read it by chapter? So चलो let's start reading it by chapters. So today I'll read chapter 1 and ये बहुत ही raw video होने वाली है because I'm not making it for I don't know anything else rather than so that I can read a book and ये YouTube channel भी side by side revive हो जाएगा. What do you guys say? Let's read it. Also, if you guys want to check out my video about the book fair जहाँ पे मैंने ये book खरीदी थी, I will tag that video also. चलो let's get into the book. So the book is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. इनका कहने का मतलब according to this book it's number 1 New York Times best selling author. I think this is a series kind of book क्योंकि इसमें Powerless is also a book. No, Powerless and Powerful दो books और हैं इसी author की. I think ये series है. I don't know if it is, but I don't know. So starting with the prologue. Should I read it out loud? I'll just read it out loud. The halls are eerily empty at this hour, just as they are every year. I take my time walking down them, stealing this sliver of peace for myself. Though stolen bliss is little more than smothered chaos, I choose to ignore that thought as I turn down a dark hall, my footsteps soft atop the emerald carpet. A sleeping castle is comforting, solitude a rarity among royal. I almost allow myself to laugh at the title. I frequently forgot what I was before what I became. A prince before the enforcer. A boy before the monster. But today I am no one. Today I simply get to be with who should have been. A soft light leaks from beneath the doors of the kitchen. I manage a slight smile at the sight. Every year she's always here every year. I gently push open the doors and step into the puddle of light cast by several flickering candles. The sweet smell of dough and cinnamon hangs in the air, swaddling me in warmth and memories. You are up earlier every year. I meet Gail's smile with a small one of my own. Her apron is dusted with cinnamon, her face streaked with flour. I lift myself onto the same counter I have sat atop since I was big enough to reach it. My palms flattened behind me, scars sticky from the countertop. There's comfort in the normalcy of it all. I smiled at the woman who all but raised me, a single shoulder lifted in a lazy shrug. Every year I sleep less. Hmm? When her hands find her hips, I know she is fighting the urge to scold me. You worry me, Kai. When have I not? I say lightly. I'm serious. You are too young to be dealing with all this. It seems like only yesterday you were running around my kitchen, you and Kit. She tailed off at the mention of him, forcing me to resurrect the dying conversation. I actually came from father's. I paused long enough to sigh through my nose. Kit's study. Uh, Gale nods slowly. He hasn't left it since his coronation, has he? No, he hasn't. And I wasn't in there long either. I ran a hand through my hair. He was just informing me of my first mission. She's quiet for a long moment. It's her, isn't it? I nod. It's her. And are you going to complete the mission? Do as I'm told? I finish for her. Of course, it's my duty. Another long pause. And did he remember what today is? I look up slowly, smiling sadly as I met her gaze. It's not his job to remember. Right. Well, I only made one this year anyway. Figured he wouldn't be able to join ya. She stepped aside, revealing a glistening sticky bun beside the oven. I slid off the counter, smiled as I walked over to her. Only I have Only after I have kissed her on the cheek does she hand the plate to me. Now go on. Go spend some time with her. Thank you, Gail, I say softly, for every year. And the rest to follow. She winks before shoving me towards the door. I glance back at her, at this woman who was a mother to me when the queen could not be. She was warm hugs and affection, well deserved scoldings, and much desired approval. I fear when the Azar brothers would be without her. Kai? I am halfway through the door when I stop to look back at her. We all loved her, she says quietly. I know, I nod. She knew. And then my feet are carrying me out into the shadowed hallways beyond. The sticky bun sitting atop the plate in my hand is tempting, smelling of cinnamon and sugar and simpler times. But instead I force myself to focus on walking the familiar path to the gardens, the same one I take this time each year from the kitchen. It's long it's not long before I'm heading for the broad doors that separate me from the gardens beyond. I barely glance at the Imperial standing guards or the ones sleeping uselessly beside them. The few who are awake pretend not to notice the sticky bun I'm carrying into the darkness with me. I follow the stone path between the rows of colorful flowers I can't make out in the shadows, statues covered in ivy littering the garden, several missing chunks of stone after taking one too many topples that certainly had nothing to do with me. The fountain ripples at the center of it all, reminding me of stifling days and understandable stupidity that had Kit and me jumping into it. But it's what sits beyond the gardens that I'm here for. I step into the soft stretch of grass that was once layered with colorful rugs for the second trial ball, not allowing myself to reminisce any further on that night. I follow the moonlight that strokes its pale fingers over the outline of her. The willow tree looks hauntingly alluring, her leaves rustling in the soft breeze. I run my eyes over each dropping branch, over each root breaking through the dirt. Every inch is beautiful and strong. I push through the curtains of leaves to step beneath the tree. I visit as often as life will allow it, but always on this day with a sticky bun in hand. I run my fingers along the rough bark of the trunks, following its familiar grooves. It's not long before I take my familiar seat beneath the towering tree, draping an arm over my propped knee. Balancing the plate atop a particular large root, I put a small matchbox from my pocket. I couldn't find a candle this year, sorry. I strike the match, staring at the small flame now spluttering on the stick. So this will have to do. I push the match into the corner of the sticky bun, smiling slightly at the pathetic sight. I take a moment to watch it burn, watch it paint the massive tree in flickering glow. Then I look down beside me, running a hand over the soft grass there. Happy birthday, A. I blow out the makeshift candle, letting darkness swallow us whole. Okay? So, on to chapter 1. My blood is only useful if it can manage to stay inside my body. My mind is only useful if it can manage to not get lost. My heart is only useful if it can manage to not get broken. Well, it seems I have become utterly useless then. My eyes flicker over the floorboard beneath my feet, wandering over the worn wood. The mere sight of familiar floorboards were with memory, and I fight to blink away the fleeting image of small feet atop big booted ones as they stepped into time to a familiar melody. I shake my head, trying to shake the memory from it, despite desperately wishing I could dwell in the past. Seeing that my present isn't the most pleasant at the moment. 16, 17, 18. I smile, ignoring the pain that pinched my skin. Found you. My stride is unsteady and stiff, sore muscles straining with each step towards the seemingly normal floor. I drop to my knees, biting my tongue against the pain and claw at the wood with crimson stained fingers. I suggest to ignore. The floor seems to be just as stubborn as I am, refusing to budge. I would have admired its resilience if weren't a damp piece of wood. I don't have time for this. I need to get out of here. A frustrated sound tears from my throat before I blink at the board, blurting. I could have sworn you were the secret compartment. Are you not the 19th floorboard from the door? I'm staring daggers at the wood before hysterical laughter slips past my lips, and I tip my head back to shake it at the ceiling. Plagues, now I'm talking to the floor, I muttered, further proof that I'm losing my mind. Although it's not as if I have anyone else to talk to. It's been 3 days since I stumbled back to my childhood home, haunted and half dead, and yet both my mind and body are far from healed. I may have dodged death with each swipe of the king's sword, but he still managed to kill a part of me that day after the final trial. His words cut deeper than his blade could ever, slicing me with slivers of truth as he toyed with me, taunted me, told me of my father's death with a smile and tugged at his lips. Don't you want to know who it was who killed your father? The king is an ass. A shiver snakes down my spine while the king's cold voice echoes through my skull. Let's just say that your first encounter with the prince wasn't when you saved Kai in the alley. इतना दिमाग टेक्नोलॉजी का वो हो गया मैं इसमें ऐसे कर रही थी that the book that font the text will go up. Let's just say your first encounter with the prince wasn't when you saved Kai in the alley. If betrayal was a weapon, he bestowed it upon me that day, driving the blunt blade through my broken heart. I blew out a shady breath, pushing away thoughts of the boy with grey eyes as piercing as the sword. I watched him drive through my father's chest so many times, so many years ago. Staggering to my feet, I shifted my weight over the surrounding floorboards, listening to an indicated creak while mindlessly spinning the silver ring on my thumb. My body aches all over, my very bone feeling far too fragile. The wounds I earned from my fight with the king were hastily tended to, the result of shaky finger and silent sobs that left my vision blurry and stitches sloppy. After limping from the bowl area towards Loot Alley, I stumbled into the white shack I called home and the resistance called headquarters. But I was greeted with emptiness. There was no familiar face filling the secret room beneath my feet, leaving me, leaving me with nothing but pain and confusion. I was alone, have been alone, left to clean up the mess that is my body, my brain, my bleeding heart. The woods beneath me groans. I grin. Once again, I'm on the floor, prying up a beam to reveal a shadowy compartment beneath. I shake my head to myself, mumbling, it's the 19th floorboard from the window, not the door. Pay? Who's pay? I think उसका खुद का नाम पे है जिसका POV we are reading. I reach into the darkness, fingers curling around the unfamiliar head of a dagger. My heart aches more than my body, wishing to feel the swirling steel handle of my father's weapon against my palm. But I chose the shedding of blood over sentiments when I threw my beloved blade into the king's throat. My only regret is that he found it, promising to return it only when he stabbed it into my back. Empty blue eyes blinked at me in the reflection of the shiny blade I lifted into the light. Hateful thoughts, my skin is splattered with slices covered in cuts. I swallow at the sight of the gash running down the side of my neck. Skip finger over the jagged skin, shaking my head. I slipped the dagger into my boot, stowing away my scarred reflection with it. I spot a bow and its square of sharp arrows concealed in the compartment, and the shadow of a sad smile crosses my face. At the memory of father teaching me how to shoot, and the tree behind our house, my only target. Slinging the bow and quiver across my back, I sift through the other weapons hidden beneath the floor, after tossing a few sharp throwing knives into my pack. Were they joined the rations blanket, water canteens, and the few crumpled garments I've hastily tucked inside I struggle to my feet. I've never felt so delicate, so damaged. The thought has me swelling with anger, has me snatching a knife from my waist, and itching to plunge it into the worn wooden wall beneath me. Searing pain shoots down my raised arm when the brand above my heart pulls taut with the movement, a reminder, a representation of what I am, or rather what I am not. Oh, or ordinary. Cool. I sent the life flying, plunging into the wood with gritting teeth, the scar sting, gloating of it endless existent on my body. I will leave my mark upon your heart, lest you forget who's broken it. I stalk over to the blade, ready to yank it from the wall when the board beneath my foot creaks, drawing my attention despite knowing that flimsy floorboards are anything but foreign to the house in the slums. My curiosity has me bending to investigate. If every creaking board were a compartment, our floors would be littered with them. The wood lifts with my eye and my eyebrows do the same. Shooting up my forehead in shock, I huff out a humorless laugh as I reach into the shadow of the compartment I did not know existed. Silly of me to think that the resistance was the only secret father kept from me. My fingers brush worn leather before I pull out a large book stuffed with papers that threaten to spill out. I flip through it, recognize the shiny handwriting of a healer. Father's journals. I shoved it into my pack, knowing I don't have time or safety needed to study his work now. I have been here too long. Spent too many days wounded and weak and worrying that I'll be found. The sight who witnessed me murdered the king has likely displayed that image all over the kingdom. I need to get out of Ilya, and I have already wasted the head start he so graciously gave me. I make my way to the door, ready to slip out and onto the streets where I can disappear into the chaos that is loot. From there, I attempt to head across the scratches to the city of Dor, where elites don't exist and ordinary is all they know. Reaching for the door and the quiet streets beyond, I halt, hand outstretched, quiet. It's nearly midday, meaning Loot and its surrounding streets should be warm of swearing merchants, squealing kids as the slum buzz with color and commotion. Something's not right. The door shuddered. Someone rammed into it from the outside. I jump back, eyes darting around the room. I contemplate ducking down the secret stairwell to the room beneath that held resistant meetings. But the thought of being cornered down there makes me queasy. That's when my gaze snaps to the fireplace. I sigh in annoyance despite my current situation. How do I always find myself in a chimney? The door breaks open with a bang before I have barely skimmed halfway up the grimy wall, my feet planted on either side of me, while bricks stick into my back. While bricks stick into my back. Brownie. Only an elite with extraordinary strength would be able to smash through my barricaded and bolted door so quickly. The sound of heavy boot has me figuring that 5 Imperials have just filed into my home. Don't just stand there, search the place and convince me that you are useful. A shiver runs down my spine at the sound of the cool voice. I stiffen, slipping slightly down the sooty wall. He's here. The voice that follows it gravely belonged to an Imperial. You heard the enforcer. Get a move on. The enforcer. I bit my tongue, whether to keep myself from letting out a bitter laugh or a scream. I'm not sure. My blood boils at the title, reminding me of everything he's done, every bit of evil he's committed in the shadows of the king. First for his father and now for his brother, thanks to me ridding them of the former. So this person जिसका point of view हम पढ़ रहे हैं, he killed the king. Except he's not thanking me. No, he's come to kill me instead. Maybe when I rid myself of you, I'll find my courage. So I'm giving you a head start. A lot of good his head start has done me. I can't risk being heard scramble up the chimney, so I wait, listen to heavy footsteps stomping through the house in search of me. My legs are beginning to shake, straining to hold me up while my every wound has me wincing in pain. Check the bookcases in the study. There should be a secret package behind one. The enforcer, whatever, man. Commands dryly. Once again, I find myself stiffening. A resistant member must have confessed that little secret after he tortured it out of them. My pulse quickens at the thought of the fight after the final trial in the bowl when ordinaries, fatals, and imperials clashed in a bloody battle. A bloody battle that I still don't know the outcome of. The steps of the Imperials grow distant, the sound of their surge softens as they head down the stairs into the room beneath. Quiet. And yet I know he's still in the room. Only a feeble amount of feet separate us. I can practically feel his presence, just I have felt the heat of his body against mine, the heat of his grey gaze as it swept over me. The floorboard creaks. He's close. I'm shaking with anger, revenge coursing through my blood, and desperately wishing to spill his. It's a good thing I can't see his face because if I were to catch sight of one of his stupid dimples right now, I wouldn't be able to stop myself from trying to crawl it from his face. But I steady my breath instead, knowing that if I fight him now, my fury won't be enough to beat him. And I intend to win when I finally face the enforcer. I imagine you pictured my face when you threw that knife. His voice is quiet, considering, sounding far more like a boy I knew. Memories of him flooded my mind, managed to make my heart race. Isn't that right, Pagan? And there it is, the edges back in the enforcer's voice, erasing Kai and leaving a commander. My heart hammered against my ribcage. He can't know I'm here. How could he possibly? The sound of a blade ripping from splintered wood tells me he yanked my knife out of the ball. I hear a familiar flicking noise, and I can practically picture him mindlessly flipping the weapon in his hand. Tell me, darling, do you think of me often? His voice is murmur, as if his lips were pressed against my ear. I shiver, knowing exactly what that feels like. Are these two lovers? If he knows I'm here, then why hasn't he? Do I haunt your dreams, plague your thoughts like you do mine? My breath hitches. Oh, he doesn't know I'm here. Not for certain. His admission tells me as much. As an ordinary who was trained and tailored into a psych, I was taught by my father to read people, to gather information and observe in a matter of seconds. And I have had far more than a matter of seconds reading Kaya Zad. I've seen through his many masked facades, glimpses of the boy beneath, and growing to know him, care for him, and with all the betrayal now between us, I know he wouldn't declare dreaming of me if he knew I was drinking in every word. I hear the humor in his voice as he sighs, "Where are you, little psychic?" His nickname is laughable, seeing that he and the rest of the kingdom know I am anything but elite. Nothing but ordinary. Soot stings my nose and I have to clap my hand over it to hold in a sleaze, reminding me of my many nights thieving from the stores, lining loot before escaping through cramped chimneys, cramped, trapped, suffocating. My eyes dart across the bricks surrounding me in darkness. The space is so small, so stuffy, so very easily making me panic. Calm down. Claustrophobia chooses the worst time to claw to the surface and remind me of my helplessness. Breathe. I do deeply. The hand still clamped over my nose, smells faintly of metal, sharp, strong, and stinging my nose. Blood. I pull the shaky hand away from my face, and though can't see the crimson staining my fingers, I can practically feel it clinging to me. Where did it go? Yeah. I pull the shaky hand away from my face, although I can't see the crimson stain of my fingers. I can practically feel it clinging to me. That's still blood crusted under my cracked nails, and I don't know whether it's mine, the king's, or. I suck in a breath, trying to pull myself together. The enforcer looms far too close to me, pacing the floor, wood groaning beneath him with each step. Getting caught because I started sobbing would be equally as embarrassing as getting caught for sneezing. And I refuse to do either. At some point, the Imperial stomped back into the room beneath me. "No sign of her, Your Highness." "It's a her." I was thinking it's a him, and him and the enforcer had an affair. There's a long pause before His Highness sighs. "Just as I thought, you are all useless." His next words are sharp, and the blade he flips casually in his hands. "Get out." I think he knows that she's in the chimney. The Imperials don't waste a single second before scrambling towards the door and away from him. I don't blame them. But he's still here, leaving nothing but silence to stretch between us. I have a hand clamped over my nose again, and the smell of blood combined with the cramped chimney had my head spinning. Memories flood my mind, my body caked in blood, my screams as I tried to scrub it away only managed to stain my skin a sickening red. The sight of smell, so much blood, made me sick, made me think of my father bleeding out in my arms, of Edna, not Ada, Edna doing the same. Edna. Tears prick my eyes, forcing me to blink away. Image of her lifeless body in the sandy pit. The metallic stench of blood fills my nose again. I can't stand to smell it. to look at it, to feel it. A heavy sigh cuts through my thoughts. You sound as tired as I feel. It's a good thing you are not here, he says softly, a tone I never thought I'd hear from him again. Because I still haven't found my courage. To what? To kiss her? To kill her? And then my home burst into flames. And with that, chapter 1 ends. Continue watching, we'll read this together. It is far more interesting than I thought, guys. Maybe I'll post chapter 2 soon.